John Quincy Adams said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." This is true with few individuals, one of which is Mr. Karl L. King, a leader, musician, and revolutionist.
Oh, without a doubt, his personality was such that I should strive to be better, learn more music, work harder at my musicianship, and enjoy it all at the same time.
Karl King created something that lives beyond him and still lives today: his legacy. Karl King was caring, inspirational, driven, and devoted. Because of this, he is without a doubt a leader. Karl L. King was born in Canton, Ohio in 1891, where he learned to love music at a young age. When Karl was 19, he joined the circus to play music to accompany the various acts. He became a very prolific composer in the field of circus music. 10 years later, at the age of 29, Karl moved to Fort Dodge, Iowa, and became the conductor of the Fort Dodge Municipal Band, later to be called the Karl L. King Municipal Band. He died in 1971 at the age of 80. Throughout his life, he had achieved great success and recognition. He was a very decorated composer and won various awards, including the Karl King Viaduct. He wrote over 300 songs, 200 of which were marches. Many of these songs are still played, listened to, and enjoyed today.
We've had inquiries about his music and about the things that are on our website. I think it's somewhere up over 120 different countries now in the world. His music is very popular right now in Japan and in Switzerland, believe it or not. But a lot of his music is still performed today by school groups, by professional groups.
Karl King was an inspiration to people around him, being the reason that many of his band members and other people that he came in contact with pursued a career in music.
When I was a senior in high school, he came back one time and sat down beside me in a chair and asked me where I was going to go to college, and I told him kind of what I had in mind, that I wanted to be a band director, and I thought I'd go to State College of Iowa. It was at the time, it's UNI now. And he suggested that maybe I look at Buena Vista because the director of bands there was in the band, and thought they were doing a good job, and I didn't have any money to go anywhere. I was paying for everything myself, and so whatever I decided to do was my responsibility. And so through his encouragement and through my college band director's encouragement, I was able to go to college and get my degree. So he influenced me tremendously. I had the fortune of playing for 11 years in his band before he passed away.
Karl King was a man who did not care about himself or even his music, but about the people listening. Karl King cared about his audience and other people in general. He often talked to and took interest in regular people. Karl also paid attention to the needs of these people and what was lacking in the music industry. For this reason, Karl wrote specifically for high school bands. Local bands in the Fort Dodge area were in need of playable, easy music, so Mr. King wrote songs specifically for them. Karl King was a very selfless man who put the needs of others before himself.
He wrote very playable marches for high school students, and even some that are good for junior high students if they're at a high level.
Karl King worked to create a legacy that lived beyond himself. Karl worked on pieces that challenged him and were difficult. However, because of his devotion to music, he managed to succeed despite his odds. Karl pursued a career in music, and even more than that, he composed march music, a field that John Philip Sousa was famous for at this time. This is yet one more challenge that Karl faced, making it increasingly difficult to become a musician, let alone a famous one. Karl worked long and hard on his music career, and it shows. Because of this, his music is still enjoyed by many people around the globe, and he is known as the Circus Music King.
He has the name the March King for a reason, because he wrote so many pieces that are still in, the playing repertoire today.
We all have the good fortune of playing, over 300 compositions that he wrote. So, and in so many different styles.
Karl King was very devoted to his work. He worked continuously, day and night, to make sure that his music was just right. He made sure that he had created something that his audience would enjoy.
And then from about 1910, when he joined the circus at the age of 19, until the end of the 1918 season, there was a 9-year period of time there where he was traveling with various circuses or directing various circus bands. And there was no music written for those particular acts. And so he might have say a trapeze artist come and join the circus for a show, and there wouldn't be any music. And so he would sit down and literally overnight, he would write out all the parts and would play it with the circus the next day.
Karl King wrote over 300 different compositions, 200 of which were marches, and 100 various other styles of music. All 300 of these songs, however, are works of art. This excellence is not simply achieved overnight, nor can one be born with it. Karl King was devoted to his work and would not stop until he achieved this standard. This mentality is one that everyone should learn from and adopt. For this reason, Karl King's legacy also lives on through not only his work, but the way that he completed it, with passion and determination. Karl King won many awards throughout his life, including the Karl King Bandshell, a bandshell in Olson Park in Fort Dodge, designed by world-renowned architect Henry Kampffner. Karl King's band played here for many years, and it is still used today by the current Karl King Band. Karl King was also awarded with the Karl King Park just outside of the Fort Dodge Library. This is a place where people from all around the city of Fort Dodge gather, and right in the center is a statue of Mr. Karl L. King. Karl King was also awarded with a $2 million viaduct that currently connects two halves of Fort Dodge and is frequently driven across by members of the Fort Dodge community and surrounding areas. Karl was also awarded with the Iowa Award, the most prestigious award that a person can get in the state of Iowa. Karl won various other awards as well, creating a name for himself in the music industry. Karl L. King was, and is, a respected member of the Fort Dodge community. He was a caring individual who worked to make today's world just a little bit better. Unfortunately, Karl died on March 31st, 1971, at the age of 80 years old, of diverticulitis. However, Karl King still lives on today through his music, his wisdom, and his inspiration. Karl King is a legend, a hero, and a leader. As Janet Jackson said, and as Karl King did, I would hope my legacy would be bringing smiles to faces, happiness with my music.